Hello YouTube, this is Truth Through Revelation with Michelle Snort
and Mercury Chad Mercury.
Right now we're going to be doing a Quran alone debate, and we'll be trading off as devil advocates and in favor of the Quran, and we're going to just go back and forth on some hard-hitting topics that Quran alone people and hear a lot actually asked from either Brand Islam or any other sect of humanity. So this is a Quran alone debate with my friend and I, and we'll be beginning now. First topic is reincarnation in the Quran. Is reincarnation mentioned in the Quran? Now, you want to be devil's advocate, you gotta say...
Is it mentioned?
It's not mentioned. Be like, it's not mentioned in the Quran.
Well, I'm not gonna go on paper as saying that, but...
Yeah, okay. We believe it's mentioned in the Quran, and this is our proof from the Quran.
It definitely mentions it once, that's for sure.
The Quran mentions that God will resurrect everyone on the earth on a flattened plane and judge us on all our deeds. And this is at least one irrefutable proof that resurrection is real, reincarnation is real, reincarnate is to come back to life. Another proof is that God says in a duo form, I gave you life, then gave you death, then gave you life, then gave you death, then brought you back. And it's kind of a way of going, etc., etc. I give you life, give you death, etc. on that.
There's leaves that they have a choice between falling and not falling at God's command, and some of them don't fall, so they have a consciousness. And objects have a consciousness.
And is there like a transmigration of the consciousness? Well, God is capable of all things, and He already proves that He gives us life and gives us death and gives us life again. Next topic, or do you have any more?
Yeah.
What's the conclusion?
Conclusion is definitely seems more in favor than not in favor. And if you cross-reference with the Bible and other stories, I'm pretty sure that it does happen sometimes.
There was a man who denied that God could bring him back in the Bible. I can't quite remember the chapter off the top of my head. And God brings him back, not on the day of resurrection, just reincarnates him to tell him that I could do anything, I am God. And then he dies again. So, you know, there's proof that for at least two times he resurrects, reincarnates, he rajas. So in conclusion, yes, reincarnation is mentioned in the Quran.
Next topic.
Next topic.
What females are mentioned? Are there female prophets?
Are there female prophets? Yes. Yes, there are female prophets mentioned in the Quran. I'd like to begin with that. What is due to women is what is due from them, but men have a degree over women. Kind of, it has the implication that, and also in the Quran it says that there's things that women are better at than men and things that men are better at than women. And that kind of puts them on like a similar page. And many a time in the Quran, women are mentioned, such as Mary, and Mary's mother, Eve,
Abraham's wife.
Yes.
At least 4 examples. I mean, to say, are they ever called prophets? I don't know, but does it really matter?
Isn't a prophet the one who spreads the message? And really, this is an upcoming topic in this conversation, is Muhammad the last prophet?
Is he the last prophet?
Based on the Quran alone, I would say no.
Prophets, they say he's the seal of prophets, but is that talking about the seal on a jar that closes all of them in?
No, or the seal on a ring?
The seal on a ring
like that the king has.
Official with. Because it's just he made all of it official because he laid it down like one take Jake, you know.
Or is it saying that he's the seal of the prophet, not that he was the final one that killed it, or that he's in the seal, like a family seal, or like a marker. A marker, it could be like a seal doesn't mean closing tightly sealed. It could mean marked or stamped.
It does give you instructions for what to do if you're around the prophet, like not to come to his house too much.
And I realize a lot in the Quran that the prophet is also referring to the Quran itself.
Well, the messenger, yeah.
The messenger. But the one that you profit off of. Profit, think of it like it's profitable in the hereafter, the information. So to say Muhammad is the last prophet based on the Quran, you don't have enough information to make this deduction, to deduce this, because
you could definitely say he's a seal, but the seal...
You could say he's a seal, but you have to know what the seal means.
Implies finality.
We'll have to look at books from that time that use seal, or look up anything that...
I think a seal means the king's stamp. Like,
maybe he
this document is binding.
He's a king. He's the king, ruler, prophet.
Yeah, he's what made the document
like David
binding.
And Solomon.
No, it's not picking me up on the mic. He is what made the document binding. Therefore, he is the seal. But to say that that's the last,
said the last is adding a word.
Oh, here, I got to prove it can't be. It says that every time God destroys a civilization, he sends to them messengers and prophets. So, to imply that he was the final prophet would be to say that there's not been a civilization destroyed, and there most definitely has been civilization.
And there most definitely will be. And there most definitely will be civilizations destroyed, because before the whole Earth realm is destroyed, civilization is destroyed. So there's at least one more time a prophet is needed at this point moving forward, but there's no valid reason anyone should deduce that there isn't, that Muhammad is the last prophet. It is, yeah, that's another preconceived notion from traditionalist Islam that resonates.
Oh, and when can you kill a baby according to the Quran?
And is abortion wrong according to the Quran? Well, God says you come from a drop of sperm and you become a clinging thing. And let's stop there at clinging thing. You're not a clinging human or a clinging sentient being. It's a clinging thing.
Then it's just talking about bones and flesh.
Then a mass of flesh. And I honestly need it in front of my eyes to see the rest of the line.
It was flesh. Then he fashioned you bones.
Then he fashioned you bones.
Then muscle. No, then flesh, which is the muscle.
And flesh, your skin.
Then
Does he give you life? Is it something like there?
Yeah, so I mean, if the shit,
if he's wording it, if God is,
if the baby got hair and shit and bones and all that and skin,
but does it
then,
make it?
Then it's a baby. Like if it's
complete,
like a baby.
Yeah.
But it might not be like the traditions will say it's a specific day.
But it's also clinging. It's clinging within you. Maybe.
Yeah, it might be all the way to the,
when it comes out.
New York rules. It might be New York rules on that. Yeah.
Not sure, but I know that there's a certain point where it's just a clinging mass of flesh that God specifies as a thing and not as a living entity. So it's negotiable, that one, but I'd say use your own reason. Use your own reason at that point. Any other topic that we touched upon?
Zakat. I want to explain for that.
Wait, zakat just to build off purity?
Just to build off what Sam Gerrans says.
As chastity?
Yeah, it definitely has to mean chastity because.
Ask the question first. What is zakat according to the Quran alone?
It definitely has to mean chastity because it mentions John specifically, who was given zakat.
Louder.
It mentions John as one who was given zakat, and John, according to the Bible, was a virgin all his life.
Life.
Anyways, and then it tells you to give your zakat. All the times it's talking about like relationship stuff. So it's saying like give your purity sexually, which is chastity.
It's like keep your chastity, like uphold your chastity and to not be sexually immoral or fornication. So yes, the fact that it's mentioned
The
in
fact
that context, and the way it's said.
And yo, honestly,
And also, if you go to, it's the same as how Christians view tithing in the Bible.
and it's the same as the government uses NASA.
And in the same way that the tithing brainwash is used in the Bible, is that still to this day the government church building mandates a 10% tax to the church. But also in the Bible, it's proven that church means either your body or a group of people gathering in any place, and tithing wasn't what was ordained for them, but was a tax given on.
It's kind of like how the Americans got to pay tithing to NASA to keep worshiping the Jupiter and Mars and all that shit.
But anyway, the Bible doesn't command you to do tithing. It actually says after this point, don't do it anymore. And it does recommend that you give donations to your fellow people when they need help with goods. But it's completely backwards. But anyways, there's a cut in all organized religions. The taxation is the same all around. It's like how the people give to NASA in the tax form.
Flat Earth model question.
Is the Earth flat proven by the Quran?
Flat Earth model question.
Oh.
Is the Earth a dome structure according to the Quran, or is it an infinite plane with another infinite plane, or a semi-finite plane, like a finite plane that's still being made up? Right now, I have the answer to that.
Well, we both go in.
You start.
Okay. Well, it mentions a firmament, which is a firm ceiling, a firm physical ceiling above us, held up by nothing. So if it was a dome, it would be held up by itself.
Yes.
And
the lines of perspective prove that
it goes on.
that we are in a flat plane
that is infinitely
seemingly
going.
goes on forever, or at least
comprehensively goes on forever.
Yeah.
As far as you can go. As far as you can go.
Or at the very least, that the dome.
If it was,
there's no dome. It's just being held up.
Yeah.
The firmament just being held up on its own.
God specifies in the Quran that the firmament is held up by no pillars, but His own glory. So it couldn't mean a dome that has endings.
It's just up there on its own.
It's just up there, like it's basically infinitely.
The line of perspectives. You see these buildings. Okay, perfect example. Them lines of perspective can only exist on an x-axis and a y-axis, implying. Oh, and the other axis, x, y, and z axis, because it's in 3D, right? That implies a grid, and the firmament could only be held up with nothing on an Earth that's held up by nothing, for there to be lines of perspective, or else there will be different lines of perspective than the ones we're seeing now.
The Earth being infinite also kind of, it fits in the signs.
Infinite.
Let me finish.
Just be that.
In a real debate, you don't cut people off. It's very unprofessional.
But well, it's American style. Look, it could be darkness around it. I'm not saying it's infinite. It could be infinite or not, but it's definitely held up on its own.
We know that our souls are eternal, and we know that God is infinite and eternal, and we know that there's eternal aspects in our existence. And I would say that the earth realm will be destroyed by God one day, and that if it is infinitely going on, the more you go on Earth, or if it isn't, if it ends with darkness, I don't know. But that's not really clearly specified. But if it does go on forever, as far as you can go, that's not out of the realm of possibilities, because God is capable of all things.
Oh, also it does say the sky is expanding, so that's why you see. That's why nowadays you see the stars of Gog and Magog and the moons of Gog and Magog. Well, moving stars.
God
suns.
made the earth as an expanse. So in the Quran, God says God made the earth as an expanse.
Which is like a giant grid.
Right, it's like a realm that is like expanse.
It's most definitely a realm.
Can I pause it just so we don't lose anything? Because we could lose it if it dies.
Okay. Is your phone
We
dying?
save it? No, we can save it and edit it.
Okay, fiend.